I'm going to read this. Again, he wants to take Ramana but yet this man doesn't want to believe apparently that it's possible, or what Jivan Mukti is. So let's see what Ramana has to say when he translates from the Vedanta Chudamani. One should not be deceived by the external appearance of jnanis. And its meaning is as follows. Although a Jivan Mukta associated with body may, owing to his prarabdha, appear to lapse into ignorance or wisdom, yet he is only pure like the ether, akasa, which is always itself clear. Whether covered by dense clouds or cleared of clouds by currents of air, he always revels in the self alone, like a loving wife taking pleasure with her husband alone, though she attends on him with things obtained from others by way of fortune as determined by her prarabdha. Though he remains silent, like one devoid of learning, yet his supineness is due to the implicit duality of the Vaikari Vak spoken words of the Vedas. His silence is the highest expression of the realized non-duality, which is, after all, the true content of the Vedas. Though he instructs his disciples, yet does he not pose as a teacher in the full conviction that the teacher and disciple are mere conventions born of illusion, Maya. And so he continues to utter words like akasvarni, and if on the other hand he mutters words incoherently like a lunatic, it is because his experience is inexpressible, like the words of lovers in embrace. If his words are many and fluent like those of an orator, they represent the recollection of his experience, since he is the unmoving, non-dual one without any desire awaiting fulfillment. Although he may appear grief-stricken like any other man in bereavement, yet he evinces just the right love of and pity for the senses, which he earlier controlled before he realized they were mere instruments and manifestations of the Supreme Being. When he seems keenly interested in the wonders of the world, he is only ridiculing the ignorance born of superimposition. If he appears indulging in sexual pleasures, he must be taken to enjoy the ever-inherent bliss of the self, divided itself into the individual self and universal self, delights in their reunion to regain its original nature. If he appears wrathful, he means well to the offenders. All his actions should be taken to be only the divine manifestation on the plane of humanity. There should not arise even the least doubt as to his being emancipated while yet alive. He lives only for the good of the world. Are we catching this? Are we starting to get a little inkling? Yes, one goes back into the world, and one enjoys it, and it becomes the divine play. Or are you going to also argue with Ramana? Sri Bhagavan now warned the hearers against the mistake of disparaging a jnani for his apparent conduct, and again cited the story of Parikshit. He was a stillborn child. The ladies cried and appealed to Sri Krishna to save the child. The sages round and wondered how Krishna was going to save the child from the effects of the arrows of Asvatthama. And Krishna said, if the child be touched by one eternally celibate, the child would be brought to life. Even Sukha dared not touch the child. Finding no one among the reputed saints bold enough to touch the child, Krishna went and touched it, saying, if I am eternally celibate, may the child be brought to life. The child began to breathe and later grew up to be Parikshit. Just consider how Krishna, surrounded by 16,000 gopis, is a brahmachari. Such is the mystery of Jivan Mukti. A Jivan Mukti is one who does not see anything separate from the self. The Jivan Mukti is one who does not see anything separate from the self. If, however, a man consciously attempts to display siddhis, he will receive only kicks. Thus ends what Ramana has to say about Jivan Mukti. So, again, you can take your preconceived notions of what it's supposed to look like and you can sit on it and spin. Even if I had a motorcycle, which I no longer have, it does not preclude one from being Jivan Mukti. Because one is doing photography, it does not preclude one from Jivan Mukti. If I wanted to have a sexual relation, it does not preclude one from being a Jivan Mukti. When the path is done, the path is done. And at that point, one goes back into life and enjoys it fully. So again, before opening the mouth and inserting the foot in all your preconceived notions and claiming that you've been 40 years reading, you have not studied very well. You know nothing about what Ramana said. You know nothing about Kundalini. You know nothing about a genuine path. You dabble on the surface and remain in your ignorance, yet proclaiming titles that you do not have, proclaiming wisdom that you do not have, proclaiming status which you do not have, and yet have the audacity to come and say the things that you say. You, sir, are creating very difficult karma for yourself. My suggestion is that you stop before you create any more. So thus ends what Ramana had to say on Jivan Mukti, being liberated while in life. Yes, it exists.